All right, so we'll jump right into it. So welcome everyone to China Seminar Series hosted by the Australian Centre of China in the World. I will be your chair for today. I'm Professor Matthew Galway. I'm a lecturer, senior lecturer of Chinese history here at the ANU. And we very much are grateful and welcome everyone here today to listen to Pan Wang, who will be presenting on a very fascinating topic. Before I provide the formal introduction, I'll just start with an acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge and celebrate the First Nations, the Ngunnawal and Ngambri peoples, on whose unceded traditional lands we meet, and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. And although we're doing this online, I think it is nonetheless ever important for us to acknowledge the place on the lands on which we meet, regardless whether it's, of course, digital or otherwise. So enough of me babbling on. Our speaker for today is Pan Wang. And just one second here, I'm just negotiating a few issues with my computer. There we go, excellent. So Pan Wang is senior lecturer in Chinese and Asian Studies at the University of New South Wales in Sydney. She's author of Love and Marriage and Globalizing China, which came out recently, 2015, and through Routledge. She currently serves as Convenor of Chinese Studies and teaches and researches in gender, love, and marriage in China and Chinese media and communication. Her latest publications include The Cultural Economy of Xiangqin, an analysis of piracy dating shows, date renting, and matchmaking apps, 2022, just last year, and then Continuum Journal of Media and Cultural Studies, and Love During the Cultural Revolution, Evidence of a Couple's Private Letters, 1968 to 1977, also 2022, which is available in the History of the Family. So without further ado, a grand welcome to our presenter today, Pan Wang.
Thanks very much, Matthew, for the introduction. And let me share my screen with everybody here so you can see my PPT that I prepared for this talk. So, okay. One sec. Okay, so my topic today is Going Solo, China's singles economy and the date renting industry. So I am going to go through these points today, including the concept of the singles economy and the singles population in China. I'll be giving you some statistics, some background around the single population and single-oriented businesses. And then we'll focus on one business out of many, that is date renting. So let's clarify the concept first. The singles economy. So singles economy is a modified concept of the Bridget Jones economy. You can see just like the picture that you see on the right, the woman in the middle. Some of you may have watched the TV or the novel originally. So Bridget Jones is a character of the 1996 novel called Bridget Jones' Diary. And she is a very career-oriented, well-educated single woman in her 30s living in London. Like Bridget Jones, there is an increasing number of single women in their 20s and 30s who are Korean-oriented and well-educated, and they live in the world developed countries, affluent cities, such as London, New York, and Tokyo, and also Sydney for sure. And they're yet to find marriage partners. And these women are the main consumers and producers of the creative economy that revolve around advertising, publishing, entertainment, and the media. So you can see this shifting global demography. This is called the Bridget Jones economy. And that concept of Bridget Jones economy, I think, can be applicable to China. So the Chinese version of the Bridget Jones is the so-called leftover women in urban cities. So many of these women, they are middle class, well-educated, career-oriented, and they pursue their profession and beauty and modern lifestyle and romance, just like Bridget Jones. So this group of women is surging in China's cosmopolitan cities, such as Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. where everyday life is increasingly gravitating towards consumerism. So we can extend the concept of the Bridget Jones to the singles economy to denote the transformative social economic changes provoked by the rising population of all singles, including single men, the divorced, and the widowed. So this is just to clarify the concept of the singles economy. If we have a look at the singles population in China, so the number of single people in China has been rising. It's also, it's very similar to many other countries, like in Australia, the UK, the USA, Japan, Korea, and other countries with developed economies. So China has the world's largest singles population. And Chinese media report that there are nearly 300 million people who are actually singles, including the unmarried, divorced, and widowed adults. So looking at that figure, you can say that is 21% of the Chinese population, and more than 10 times Australia's total population. So you can see how big it is. And according to the 2020 population census, an estimated 125 million people live alone. So they are the so-called one-person households, 一人户 in Chinese. And this accounts for a quarter of the total number of the households in China. You can see the magnitude of the number of the single households. So the number of single households also shows a 54% rise in 10 years from 2010. And so the percentages were even higher in cosmopolitan cities, such as Beijing, Shanghai, and coastal provinces like Guangdong, Fujian, etc. So you can say the unmarried single adults in their late 20s and above are commonly dubbed leftover women, 剩女 in Chinese, and also 剩男 to describe surplus men. You probably have heard that term a lot in recent years. So this group of people, they have postponed marriages for a range of reasons, such as pursuing further education, professional development, and etc. So also because of the rising cost of living and unaffordable housing prices, that also discouraged this group of people from marrying and even dating. And also, of course, the gender imbalance in the marriage market is another key factor as well to prohibiting these people from entering into a marriage. So the number of surplus men is much higher than that of the leftover women, given China's enhanced distorted tax ratio at birth since the start of the one-child policy in 1979. And recent data from China's National Bureau of Statistics show that there are 31 million more men than women in China, and there are millions more single men than women of at marriageable age. So you can see the big numbers here. And it's also estimated that the gender gap will continue to expand and also create a severe male marriage squeeze in the coming decades, potentially exceeding 40 or 50 million by 2030. That is around 7 years' time from now. So at the same time, China sees an increasing number of late marriages filled by the continuing gender gap, declining marriage rate, and also rising divorce, and also a growing number of people choose not to marry at all. And as they think marriage is no longer an imperative institution, but more of a choice. And so this is the so-called deinstitutionalization of marriage, to quote Andrew Cherlin's words. And so this correlates with the second demographic transition, which marked by changing marital behaviors, such as increased age at first marriage, and premarital cohabitation, voluntary childless families, same-sex partners, and rising divorces. So overall, you can see being single and going solo has become a new living arrangement among different groups of people in China today. And now let's move on to the next section. But before that, this is a image that shows you one Chinese parent is waiting for somebody, a potential marriage candidate, come in to see the marriage profiles of his child or others. He's helping with that. So this is a display of marriage profiles or dating profiles at China's marriage matchmaking corner, 婚姻角 in China. So that kind of tell us that there is an increasing number of leftover men and women in China who are looking for partners, but who are having trouble to have a partner, and their parents are really getting worried and doing the work for them. Some of them are apparently they're forced to look for partners. So single-oriented businesses, you see the growing number of singles, they provoke the growth of singles-oriented businesses. For example, real estate companies have developed many apartments for solo dwellers. And electronics companies, they have invented appliances for one-person household, such as mini fridge, such as small coffee machines, or fun-sized kettles and cookers, and also restaurants and food delivery services. They have included meals, tailored meals just for singles, or singletons. So singletons means singles who live alone. So that's differentiate from the concept of singles. And the tourist agencies, they have designed specific tour packages for single men and women. Insurance companies, they have included different insurance bundles just for different gender and age groups. And also pet businesses also flourished. They're getting traction. As many singletons, they are buying dogs and cats and other small animals to provide them with companionship. And IT companies have developed e-games, e-networking, and e-commerce for singles. And you can name a lot. And also dating websites and marriage introduction agencies. They have this also providing services for singles. And also the Double 11 Festival has become a major shopping day, celebrated by millions of consumers who are singles. And also, of course, the boyfriend and girlfriend renting businesses, they're also becoming increasingly popular, especially before the arrival of the new year. So we are going to focus on the date renting industry now. So date renting emerged in China in the early 2010s. When singles men started to rent, trying to start renting a date whom they could bring to their family gatherings during the New Year festival. So there was a report done by 360, which shows that 360, by the way. It's China's second largest search engine. So the report shows that the practice was very gendered, as there is less women seeking to rent a boyfriend at the beginning, and there was a lot more men looking for to rent a date. And most single men aged between 25 to 34, and with comparatively low income and educational attainment. And these age and gender pattern, you can see, allude to the harsh reality for this particular group of males in the Chinese marriage market. And parallel to the growing demand of date renting is the proliferation of date renting services. For example, Tencent QQ messaging, and also Baidu's Tieba. And they have created spaces for individuals to advertise date renting services. And China's biggest e-commerce website, Alibaba's Taobao, has incorporated date renting, date hiring practices in service. And some marriage introduction agencies, they run date renting and date hiring services. And there are also date hiring events in public venues, such as shopping plazas, and also date and other public venues. So renting websites were getting popular as well. And I analyzed the online personal profiles and short diaries of 3 very popular date renting websites. And based on my observation, I find there are some characteristics. We talked about date renting websites. So who are the date traders on these websites? They are the date traders. They are primarily from mainland China. Some are from Greater China and Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. There are also foreign nationals. And of course, there will be overseas Chinese as well. And a few are, for the foreigners, they're living in China, and who come from countries such as the UK, Germany, France, South Korea, and Thailand, all these countries. And there must be more countries lately, or countries I haven't discovered. But the point here is there are many countries involved, many countries of origin that you could see. And their ages range from 18 to their mid-40s. So young adults and middle-aged group. But mostly you can see the users are in their 20s and 30s. So their educational qualifications range from secondary school level to postdoc level. And their occupations are diverse. For example, there are students, there are accountants or businessmen, models, lawyers, civil servants, teachers, and all kinds of other, occupations, or just labeled other occupations. So let's concentrate on these features. Number 1, online self-representation of date traders. So these people, they have adopted strategic ways to market and promote themselves, just to attract viewers. This include, viewers would include potential clients and also potential romantic partners. So to make their profiles stand out, some girls name themselves beauty, 美女, elegant women, 高雅, 气质女, heartbeat, 怦然心动, little fairy, 小精灵, etc. So these are just some examples. So you can see many of these names sound cute, very feminine, and entail sexual fantasies with intent to hook up. So this is enhanced by the photos of users dressing in, I'll show you a little bit, photos of users dressing in erotic clothing, wedding gowns, and cosplay outfits, and the use of images of adult animation and ancient Chinese beauties to represent themselves. So the image that you see, I've put mosaic on their faces, but you can see these are all women's profiles telling us where they come from. They're coming from everywhere, but on this page, you can see they're from Zhejiang, Sichuan, some from New Zealand, other places from Guangdong, etc. And so these women, they tend to highlight their physical beauty and attractiveness. Whereas males, they're more inclined to highlight their positive traits. For example, having good morals, 人品好, capable, 能力强, honest, 忠诚, have a sense of humor, 幽默, 风趣, caring, etc. 关心人. So you can see many of these qualities are in line with the ideal types of masculinities that are pursued by Chinese women. So some users construct themselves in conformity with traditional gendered traits, whereas others package themselves through modern and individualized means. And on this page is the screenshot I got from I got for males. You can see these males come from Beijing, Guangdong, Anhui, etc. Many of them do not have a photo. And so apparently physical attractiveness compared to women, it's not a highlight for males. And you can also see, later I'll talk more about that. You can also see many of these males offer free dating service, whereas for women, and you can see they do say charge a fee, and that varies from thousands to, well, that varies from very little to thousands. It could be by, paid by per day. It could be just based on hours or per time. So the gendered and personalized online presentation of the self, as you see from both male and female profiles, reflect the imagined heterosexual aspirations of singles in modern courtship, and that are intended to maximize the number of views of potential day traders. And this also implies that as users gain greater autonomy in managing their self-presentation online, some could deliberately misrepresent themselves for a purpose. And now moving on to the next section, the fluidity of day renting. So the motivations of day traders are diverse and hybrid. Some users, they intend to make money by renting themselves out. Some look for people who can just perform their dates in front of their family and friends. And just like what I said earlier, a lot of Chinese men, they wanted to hire a girlfriend and bring them to their family around the New Year's time. And that applies to women too. And some of the users, they just want to make friends. So making friends here could be as a prelude to dating or date renting. And some look for real dates, very serious relationship, from the narratives that, I can see, or some just look for authentic relationships. And some seek comfort to heal their wound, because many of them, they kind of, traumatized and feel sad, etc. They want new relationship. And some simply just want to feel the void. And some look for a mixture of these relationships, pretty random, or, could be very committed on both extremes. And some are hoping for serendipity. So you can see all of these hybrid complex and motivations here. And during this process of date renting, users are both producers and consumers, and we can call that prosumers. So they can switch roles and also personalize their own needs and also those of others. Some users assert that they can tailor their services to particular clients. And for example, one female user said, I quote here, I can be salty and sweet and cold and funny. Small rental fee, whoever comes to me will be treated as my babies. And so, and another user, I quote, say, I can perform any kind of personality you want. So looking at the narratives, you can see this is a type of emotional makeup. This kind of emotional makeup of individuals, along with the, the economically motivated self-presentation of these users, show that both traditional femininity and masculinity and modern idealizations of youth and beauty are being promoted as consumer images of desirability to meet both the demand and supply of the date consumption market. So these motivations are fostering an intimate economy in which the emotional and the economic features woven together in the constitution of various types of relationships under the name, they're all under the name of date renting. And such, you can see, is a kind of commodified affection. So this type of commodified affection can either be maintained as a doable economic relation, or they can be converted to friendship, or they could actually be authentic relationships, or other types of, whether that is contractual or not, other types of relationships, either that is short-term or long-term commitment. And you can see the hyperfluid nature of date renting. You can see presents a unique type of intersectionality of emotions and capitalism, from which new types of sociability and opportunities can arise. Unlike other forms of intimate economies, for example, online dating, or cuddle buddies or escort services, for those platforms that are dedicated for one goal, like, for example, seeking a life partner, or providing comforting services, or just casual sex, etc. Unlike those date renting services, they can, on this kind of platform, on date renting platform, registered users, they can sign up to the service as both date renters and date rentees, or both of them, or either of them, and they can experiment with dating and other types of connections freely within the structure of dating. And also the prices are pretty fluid as well. So they vary from you can see on this page from free 免费 to negotiable or depends 看情况可以议价代议 in Chinese to thousands of dollars, whether that is per hour or per day or per time. And this money can range from just 1 RMB to 2,000 RMB. That is around $310 US dollars per hour, and from around 3,000 RMB to 10,000 RMB a day. That is around 465 USA dollars to around 1,547 USA dollars per day. So all of these vary, very fluid, and additional costs can be incurred depending on circumstance, depending on the market demand, and also holiday period, such as the annual Spring Festival and the Valentine's Day. So during those holidays, festivals, prices could go higher, go with the market. And you can see such price fluidity indicates that date renting can be both an emotional service, an emotional experience, and also a monetary transaction. It can be emotional service at the same time. So neither of these, or something in between. And in other words, the chemistry between individuals can presumably shape the amount being charged and determine where the relationship leads. So for example, a business partnership can potentially transform into a friendship or authentic relationship, or love affair, or whatever, or vice versa. So all of these relationships are fluid as well, based on or not based on the fluidity of prices. And here you can see the images that I mentioned, the adult animation characters. All of these are ancient beauty. These images are used as personal profiles by women as a way to attract potential viewers. And on this slide, okay, I have mentioned these ones. So on this slide, date renting as a gendered and personalized commodity. So the pricing list of day traders are gendered, by the way. So women tend to display a stronger tendency to charge higher fees or charge fees for their services compared to their male counterparts, and their male counterparts tend to offer free service or either charge a smaller amount of fee than their female counterparts. And as you say, as you watched, many of them, they are willing to offer free service, which allude to the current situation of the gendered marriage market at the time, in which a lot of males are struggling to find a partner. So this is possibly because the number of male users, particularly male date seekers, outnumber their female counterparts on some websites. So you can see that also interestingly kind of allude to the gendered practice ingrained in the Chinese culture, in both dating and also daily socialization, whereby the man should be the one who pays the bill. And personal services commonly include if you wonder what kind of services are included in the structure of dating, they include meeting friends, family members, dinner dates, having a dinner dates, watching films, playing games, traveling, makeup service, waking up services, shopping, tutoring, picking up service, cooking, or other services, or all types of work. On the right side, you can see there is an image that shows a person's profile who says the service the person provides include meeting parents and relatives, singing and watching films, and traveling, accompanying somebody to travel together, or other kind of services that is subject to discussion. So all of these, there are more services other than, aside from what's been listed. And many of these, you can see, many of these activities involve building a romantic atmosphere. And somewhere in between the private self and the public realm of consumer objects. So other dating service provisions include, all of these. It can be seen that emotional closeness are built via monetary transactions. So this is the nature of all these kind of services. And so we could link that to Eva Illou's concept of the performativity of emotion. I'll get back to that just in a sec. So other than what's been described, one female user notes in her diary book, I quote, online dating is great. I can make money, kill time, and tour in other cities and provinces. So many things can be achieved at one stroke. So you can see that's a quotation I got from somebody on the date renting websites. And so these advertised services and also personal accounts, they are a performativity of emotion. So this indicates that dating has now been transformed into a multifunctional tool organized around emotional themes, which can be used by singles for some combination of social, financial, and emotional gain. And dating has evolved into an emotional commodity that we could call that immodity for public consumption and also platform profiteering. So these, on the right side, you can see is a screenshot I got from the website, one of the websites. These are the personal diaries written by these traders. So many of them, they are sharing their mood, their thoughts, and their reflections on love, on destiny, or they're just everyday story there. So these autobiographical vignettes with many, sharing these private thoughts are both economically motivated and an object to be consumed itself. So at the same time, the affective data produced by users in their profiles and online diaries that you see here on this page, and also including other data flows in the form of commenting, liking, and messaging, all contribute to the platform's financial profitability. So these all, you can see, are a type of emotion work of users, and they have become central in producing economic value for the date renting companies. And the collaborative the collaborative manufacturing of these dating testifies to an increasingly commercialized and privatized dating culture in China, within which individuals can form myriad types of relationships based on market demand. So at the same time, these diverse services reflect the rising numbers of singles, as well as the growing incidence of loneliness in China in recent decades, especially giving singles are looking for companionship, they're looking for closeness and also emotional bonds, or all of these. And moving on to our next page, social and cultural implications of date renting. So before I say that, let's just have a look at the image on the right. This is just a screen shot I got from a website, all in Chinese. I'll translate. So what's highlighted here is 聘请城市, the place where the dating service is offered. The person is saying she is available to travel nationwide, and 出发时间, the time, anytime. She can offer the service anytime. And the lines highlighted down below is describing herself being very healthy, and she has done COVID test and she's healthy, and she's negative, and she's never been 阳过, has never having had any COVID symptom, and she is in Nanjing at the moment, and she's specialized in seeing parents, visiting parents, and then fake marriage. She also has experience performing different kinds of roles, including lawyers, including legal assistant, and also nurse, arithmetic teachers, and also customers servants. So all of these, that's just one of the profiles that I screenshot from the websites. And so back to the what we are talking here, social and cultural implications. So first, the new business model has transformed dating into a non-private, non-exclusive, and contractual service. It can be a commodity, you can see dating here. And so such commodity is intended for consumption, for intimate connection, money making, and for other purposes. So this has challenged the conventional understanding of dating. And also this, you can see, maybe is a new form, a new norm of online dating. And so it's kind of challenged the conventional understanding of dating as a form of courtship and romantic relationship. This is actually more than that, that challenges such conventional understanding. And second, the online date renting service has mediated new patterns of activity and provided individuals with greater autonomy to form relationships. They could be authentic, they could be inauthentic, they could be temporary or long-term, and this has, cultivated spaces for the development of subaltern identities and subjectivities and relationships such as homosexual intimacy and casual sex, or open relationships. All of these become possible. And no wonder I saw, when I was browsing some of the profiles online, all for males, I can see a female look image, and potentially that could be a transgender person. So that could be, different kinds of identities, subaltern identities, and subjectivities there. And this simultaneously raised multiple concerns, just as you see from this screenshot that I explained, right? You can see potential issues include social and economic exploitation, safety, morality, and legal matters, right? And apparently the person you see saying here is able to do fake marriage, and that is illegal, right? So this is evidenced all in the online posts by some date offerers, which claim that they can act in any role and fulfill all kinds of requests, such as false marriage, etc. So you can see this industry that's operating in a gray zone between the legal and illegal. The boundary between legal and illegal is blurry. And third, as individuals obtain and trade romance and relationships in the market, this cultivates a work culture. You can see a work culture wherein individuals, they can actually take advantage of their own single status for financial purposes. And well, this encourages an increasing number of singles to treat themselves. It simultaneously discourages others from seeking real dates, because when you see so many people trying to make money out of dating, then that will ruin the space or squeeze the space for those who are actually looking for a genuine relationship through date renting. And this aligns with the paradoxical logic of the date renting agencies, which is while supporting singles to find dates, the agencies, they also need to sustain their business. They need to sustain the growth of their size by retaining and attracting more singles. So you can see this paradox. And the consequence of this practice is that it may further deinstitutionalize dating and marriage, and also China's singleization trend. All these are all connected. So this is observation of the date renting websites and the service. So to conclude, is what I want to say is what I do at the moment is just this is a preliminary study of China's singles economy. So date renting is just a small part of it, because this is just the intimate realm of the big singles economy. And I think more empirical and theoretical work can be done to further understanding of date renting practices and also the diverse activities in the expanding singles market. Not only just the date renting in the intimate domain, but many other services that can also show the intersectionality of emotion and capitalism and commerce, etc. And other than this small bit, we also see there is a reservoir you can explore about the singles economy. So this is about the topic today. So thank you for that.